Welcome. It is 12 noon and time for moderate yoga, the yoga room via Zoom, via my living room. Ha, here we are. All right. So last week, Chintzia subbed for me for class. But that whole week, I had been focusing on what's called the yamas. Actually, the first yama. So let me backtrack a little bit. In yoga, think of yoga as a tree, and it's got 8 limbs. Now, what we do, poses and postures, that's like the 3rd limb in. That's not the main thing. There is so much more to yoga than the poses. All right. So let's go to the first limb. The first limb is called the yamas. And then there's a second limb called the niyamas. Now that's as far as I'm going to go right now. Because for the next several weeks, I would like us to focus on the yamas and the niyamas. And I know those sound weird, like Pee Wee Herman words, but the yamas are some tenets, some checkpoints to how to be your best. Yeah. And it focuses on how you get along with the rest of the world, how you get along with others. The niyamas basically are self-checks. There's 5 of those as well. Checkpoints in checking in with yourself. Yep. So we're starting with the yamas, and we're just going to cover the yamas and the niyamas over the next several weeks. So the yamas, these checkpoints for yourself, how to get along with others in the world. Now, we want to be kind, we want to be compassionate, and that's the first yama, ahimsa, be kind. And you may have seen the yoga room has some t-shirts that say ahimsa, and then in parentheses it says be kind. Some people translate it as non-harming or no harm, non-violence. But all of those words tend towards the negative side of the scale. I like to say be kind, be gentle, be compassionate, be loving to others. But the catch is, before you can be all that to others, you have to be that with yourself. Yeah, in order for it to be authentic. Now, the second yama, that's what I've been focusing on this week. Ahimsa was last week. Satya is the second yama, and that is honesty and truth. And these two go together. They weave together. Because you have to be kind and compassionate in order to be honest. Honesty, truth, does not come from a place of violence. And we hear people talk about the cold, hard truth. I'm going to tell them like it is. Is that the truth, or is that just your opinion? Is it the truth or just your interpretation of the truth? Again, the truth never harms. We may not like what it is, but if it comes from a place of love and compassion and kindness, it's true, it's honest. Yeah. So I want to share something with you. There is the yamas and the niyamas come from the Yoga Sutras. I said the tree of yoga, but there's a book of sutras written by Patanjali way back in the day, a yoga sage. Yeah. And Yoga Sutra 2.36 says, dedicated to truth and integrity, that's satya, our thoughts, words, and actions gain the power to manifest. Now, let's say there's a conversation between 2 people, and one says, I'm sorry that it hurt her feelings. But the truth hurts. Does it? A good rule of thumb, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? And for the person that said this, I'm sorry if it hurt her feelings, but the truth hurts. In response, is it the truth or is it your interpretation of the truth? So it's very tricky, truth or opinion. The language of Satya is based on observation, not judgment. Now, ahimsa is also non-judgmental. We tend to judge ourselves. We tend to have negative self-talk sometimes. Oh, I'm so stupid. Always do this. Never did. That's not kind. So cut that out. Yeah. And it's not the truth either. When we come from a place of loving kindness, compassion, and we observe without judgment, there's the freedom and the space for change to happen. So the first yama and the second yama, ahimsa and satya, go together hand in hand. Now, as we move through our practice today, let those two concepts come into play. All right, so bring your hands together at your heart center. Bow your head. And just take a moment to check in. Check in with your body. Check in with your breath. Check in with your mind. Now separate your hands as if they're in socks, not mittens, but socks. Give a little curvature to it. And bring your left hand on top of your right, like you've just picked up a little bug and you're going to gently and compassionately bring it outside and let it go. Holding a little bug, if you will. Now let your hands come down to your solar plexus, the upper part of your abdomen. Relax your shoulders, relax your elbows. This mudra right here represents the treasure. What is our treasure? Truth, love, compassion. Now you've checked in with your body. Maybe there's some tightness and tension. And there's no judgment to go along with that. It's just observation, because that tightness and tension may just well disappear by the end of class. And then you checked in with your breath. It may have been shallow. It may have been deep. Just observe. And then check in with your mind. And that thing that you've been beating yourself up about, let it go. Let it go. Shake it off. And take a moment now to set your own personal intention for your practice today. Let me put it right here in your little treasure chest. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a sigh. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Namaste, everybody. Yay! Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let's move on to the mat and get started. You're already there. I'm going to go over my mat. I put Marbles outside, so you may hear her scratching on the back door because she was a bit of a ruckus this morning during practice. So come on to hands and knees. Come on to hands and knees. And first of all, just sway your hips from side to side, side to side. And even maybe pick up one knee and one hand as you rock from side to side. Just rocking this way and that. And then make your way to center. Pressing down through both hands evenly, your knees and your heels lined up with your sitting bones. Lengthen from tailbone through the crown of your head. Come to your center here, your center. And then go ahead and as you exhale, bend the right elbow and look up over the left shoulder. And then inhale, come on up. And as you exhale, bend the left elbow and look up over the right shoulder. Moving slowly. Noticing what you notice, feeling what you feel, no judgment, all observation. Now, my opinion right now is that I've got some tightness and tension. When I bend my left elbow down, I can feel it through my mid-back. And I'm going to say that's my opinion right now because I'm observing that. By the end of class, that may have gone, that may go away. It may change. All right, one more time, each side. And then after that dip on that last side, go ahead and press back into child's pose, bringing your hips down towards your heels, let your head hang, let your shoulders relax, let your elbows be soft. And then when you're ready, pull back on your hands, rise up on the hands and knees, tuck your toes under, inhale your chin towards your chest, lift your knees up, press up and back into downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog, you've got your hands planted, your fingers spread, bend your knees, send your hips back, then extend your legs. And then slowly start to sway your hips from side to side. Again, shifting your weight. Maybe pick up one hand and then the other. And then come back to your center. Inhale deeply here. Exhale slowly. Inhale once more. And then as you exhale, begin to walk your feet towards your hands. Pause in this forward fold. Allow, release, let go. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthening your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees generously, sweep your arms out to the sides, come on up. Touch your palms together. Exhale, down to your heart. Come back to that treasure mudra. Right here at your solar plexus, your upper abdomen. Feel the four corners of your feet. You can lift all 10 toes to exaggerate that, get that sensation, and then set your toes back down. Coming back to your center. There are things around us that throw us off, our kilter, that make us judge, or that lead us to judge. Come back to your center, come back to your truth. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up overhead. Exhale, soften, cascade forward once more. Second time in a forward fold, notice how it feels, a standing forward fold. Bend your knees generously, sweep your arms out to the sides, come on up, touch your palms together. Exhale down to your heart, lead with your fingertips, arms up overhead. Exhale, soften, cascade down one more time. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, come on down, step back with your right foot. Long, low lunge. Inhale deeply here. Exhale slowly. Inhale, get a little longer, a little more lift in the heart. Exhale, soften. And then slowly, on the next exhalation, step that back foot all the way forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward again. Bend your knees generously. Sweep your arms out to the sides. Come on up. Touch your palms together. Exhale down to your heart. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, soften, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up to lengthen, creating some space. Exhale, fold forward again. This time, step back with the left foot. Long, low lunge. Lengthen, lift your heart, get light in your fingertips. Breathe. Inhale deeply here. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply once more. This time slowly step that front foot to the back. Coming once again into downward facing dog. Spread your fingers, bend your knees generously. Wag your tail as your knees are bent. And then come to stillness and lengthen your legs. Next exhale, slowly lower your knees down, down, down. Press back into child's pose and soften and release and let go. Pull back on your hands, rise up on the hands and knees. On the next inhale, float your right arm up, keep your thumb in your line of vision. Exhale, thread on through and come on down. Inhale, unthread, reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through and come back down. One more time, reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through, come on down. Pause right here. Now this left hand can stay in front of your face, or you can move it towards the corner of the mat. You can also take the left leg and bring it out to the side, toes pointing in the direction of your head. Leg long. You can even take this hand that's in front of your face and bring it around the small of your back. Just kind of roll open a little bit more. What feels best to you? Mindful of your shoulders, mindful of your neck, your hip, your hamstrings, everything, everything. What feels comfortable? What feels like a nice stretch for you without overdoing it? Just the happy side of your edge. Being kind, being compassionate to your body. No harm. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a big old sigh. And then slowly put that left hand back in front of your face, wherever it is. Melt your knee down. And then inhale, unthread and reach all the way up. And then exhale, thread on through. And inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, thread on through. Notice what you notice, feel what you feel. Inhale, reach all the way up. And then exhale, let that hand come down. Maybe that last few times of repetition felt different than the first few times of repetition. Again, notice what you notice, feel what you feel, no judgment. Inhale the left arm up. Keep your thumb in your line of vision. Exhale, thread all the way through. Inhale, unthread and reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through and stay. Now this time, the right hand is in front of your face. Maybe you reach towards the right corner of your mat. Maybe you bring your hand around to the small of your back. Right foot can also step out to the side if that feels appropriate. Listen to your body. Find that position that feels best to you, whether your hand stays there in front of your face or your knee stays on the ground. Notice what you notice, feel what you feel, rolling your heart open out to the side, staying grounded. Even if this position is a little off kilter, we have our center. We have our balance. Same goes with your body, your breath, and your mind. Your morals, your values, your truth. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, bring that right hand back down in front of your face. Melt your knee back down. And on an inhale, unthread, reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, thread on through. One more time. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, come on back down. Now move a little through cat and cow, forward and back with your spine. And as we move through cat and cow, we're going to incorporate a mantra that's associated with truth. That being Sat Nam. Just 2 syllables. Sat Nam. On the inhale, think to yourself, Sat, and the exhale, Nam. What does this mean? Right now, you're moving through a little moving meditation, adding that chant as you follow your inhalation and your exhalation. Sat, that which is, and Nam, name. It also translates to truth is my name. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Come to stillness, lengthen from tailbone through the crown of your head. Extend your right leg back behind you, toes tucked under. Extend your left leg back behind you, toes tucked under. Plank pose. And shift both heels over to the left. Inhale the right arm up, keep it in your line of vision. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply. Exhale, float that hand back down, coming back to plank pose. Adjust. Pause, find that place of stability. Shift both heels over to the right. Inhale the left arm up. Pause. Breathe. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Inhale once more. And as you exhale, bring that hand down, down, down. And go ahead and press back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees generously. Extend your legs. Inhale, right leg up behind you. Open up your hip. Bend your knee. And just reach, 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 opening, lengthening that right side of your body. And then slowly turn your hips back to center and lower your knee down. Inhale here. Exhale. Melt your knees down. Press back into child's pose. Walk your hands back, let your elbows bend. Taking care of your shoulders. Allow, release, let go. Walk your hands out, pull back on your hands, rise up on the hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, chin to chest. Lift your hips up and back. Stabilize. Inhale, the left leg up behind you. Open up your knee. Bend your knee, open up your hip. And just really lengthen through that left side of your body. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply once more. And as you exhale, level off your pelvis and lower your foot down. Slowly on the next exhale, walk your hands towards your feet and come into a forward fold at the back of your mat. Observe this forward fold. How are you feeling through your hamstrings? Shift your weight a little from side to side. Maybe bend one knee and straighten one leg. Bend one knee and straighten one leg. Bend your knees generously. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides. Come on up. Touch your palms together. Hands back down to your center. Coming back to your treasure mudra. Again, coming back to center. Checking things out. Lengthening up through the crown of your head. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a big O sigh. Release your hands. Inhale, sweep them out and up. Exhale, soften, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward again. Bend your knees generously. Sweep your arms out to the sides. Come on up. Exhale, hands down past your heart into your hips. Turn your left toes slightly out. As you inhale, step forward. Bend your knee. Exhale, step on back. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, step on back. One more time. Inhale, step forward and stay. Lengthen up through the crown of your head, heart facing forward. Relax your arms down by your sides. Roll your shoulders. Back foot is slightly turned out, leg is long, strong and stable from the waist down, light and lifted from the waist up. Inhale your arms up overhead, interlace all your fingers except your pointers. Float your arms down in front. This mudra is called Kali Mudra, and this represents a sword. Now, Durga is the goddess that's associated with Satya. She is the protector of peace, prosperity, and all things good, the truth. She carries a sword, she rides a tiger, sometimes she's on a lion, she's got a bunch of arms too. But in one of the arms is a sword, and she cuts through illusions. So that's what we're going to do here. We're in a warrior pose, a hero pose, a heroine type pose. Inhale, arms up overhead as you straighten your front leg. Exhale, arms come down in front. Inhale, arms up overhead, only as high as comfortable as you straighten your front leg. Exhale, bend your front knee, arms come down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, come on down. One more time. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, come on down. Pause. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Relax your shoulders. Cutting through the veils of illusion to clarity. Seeing the truth through the eyes of your heart. With compassion, and unconditional love, and kindness, and empathy. Release your mudra, float your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down, and step back to where you were at the back of your mat. Pause there. Roll your shoulders. Rock into your feet. Inhale, both arms out and up. Exhale, soften, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up to lengthen. Exhale, fold back down. Next inhalation, bend your knees generously. Sweep your arms up overhead. Touch your palms together. Hands come down past your heart to your hips. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Turn your right toes slightly out, just a little tiny calf slice, not big. Turn them out too big, and we go to step forward again. It's going to shift your body off to the side. Our heart is still facing front. Just that slight external rotation in the right leg. All right, hands to the hips. And as you inhale, step forward, bend your knee. Exhale, step back. What are we looking for? It should not be a big stutter to step back. Step forward, and it should be an easy step back. And again, step, this time stay. Now your hips may be slightly off to the side a little bit, and that's okay. That external rotation of the back foot is kind of helping you stay a little more centered here. Main thing is that your heart is forward. Strong and stable from the waist down, light and lifted from the waist up. Inhale your arms up overhead, come back into that Kali Mudra again, and float your arms out in the front. Back leg stays long, no collapsing into the back arch. Press down through the four corners of your feet. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float back down. Let your breath lead. Full length of your inhale to extend. There's a pause, full length of your exhalation to come on down. Slow and mindful movement. Can you slow it down? Last one. And stay. Tap into your power. Lengthening through the crown of your head, knowing who you are, your authentic self. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a big old sigh. Inhale, arms up overhead. Straighten your front leg. Float your arms down to your hips. And push off and step back. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, soften, fold forward. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Notice if you're feeling a little looser, a little more freer. Inhale, halfway up, come on up. Exhale, come on down. Slowly walk your hands forward, coming into your downward facing dog one more time. Bend your knees, get that length in your spine, then extend your legs. Inhale, rise up onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, melt your knees down, and then slowly press back into child's pose. Pull back on your hands and rise up. Now, normally we move through cat and cow with the inhalation being the lifting of the head and the tail, and the exhalation being the rounding of the back and head and tail come towards one another. Well, we're going to reverse that. And we're going to add lion's breath. Lion's breath is an opening of the mouth really wide, sticking out your tongue as far as you can, and opening your eyes really wide, and actually looking up towards your third eye as you do that. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see it from all the way over there. I'm way over here, but yeah, like that. Loud and proud. Yeah. All right. So on hands and knees. In this position, inhale. And as you exhale, come into cow pose with lion's breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Level off here. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift that back knee. Lengthen from tailbone through the crown of your head. Spin that back heel in just a little bit and lead with your left hand. Inhale, come on up. Warrior two, another powerful hero type pose. Beautiful. Inhale deeply here. Exhale slowly, softening. Still looking out towards the future, but still in this present moment, fully aware. Inhale deeply here. Exhale slowly. And on the next inhale, straighten your front leg, tilt at the hip crease, send your hips back, and let your right hand come down and your left hand come up. Inhale, come on back into warrior two. Exhale. Come on into triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, triangle. Long lines of energy from hand to hand, from tailbone to the crown of your head, and from hips to heels. Inhale, come on up. Warrior two once more. Float your arms up overhead, straighten your front leg, all 10 toes pointing forward. Exhale, cascade down, wide-legged forward fold. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Walk your hands over towards your left foot, pivot on your feet, come into a lunge. Pause right here. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly as you lengthen. Spin that back heel in and down. Lead with the right hand this time. Come on up into your warrior two on the other side. Stabilize. Make sure that front knee is not going past your ankle and not going over your big toe. And then slowly straighten that front leg, tilt at the hip crease. Triangle on the other side. Inhale, come on back into warrior two. Exhale, send your hips back, spine stays long. It's not important if you reach your foot or not. The most important part is that your spine stays long and you're tilting at the hip crease. Inhale, come on back into warrior two. Again, ahimsa. Truth, satya. Are you moving what's true for your body? And are you moving in a place of kindness and compassion? No pain. Yeah, we don't want pain and discomfort. We don't want injury. The next time you come into triangle, stay. Long lines of energy from heel to hip, from hand to hand, from tailbone to the crown of your head. You can look up, you can look straight ahead, or you can look down. Next inhale, come on back into warrior two. Straighten your front leg, arms go up overhead, all 10 toes pointing forward. Exhale, cascade down, wide-legged forward fold. Allow, release, and let go. Spin both heels in, bend your knees, sweep your arms out and up and straighten your legs. Inhale here, exhale, cactus arms and bend your knees, goddess pose. Inhale, arms up overhead. Now let's add lion's breath on the exhale. Ah. Inhale up. Ah. Two more times. Ah. Once more. Ah. Stay in your squat. Bring your hands to your hips. Settle into your hips a little bit. Inhale, lift your right heel. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift your left heel. Exhale, lower it down. Alternate sides. Firm through your glutes. Firm through your center. Lower the base of your ribs. Just alternating, lifting a heel. And then the next time your left heel goes down, pause, lift both heels. Lower down. Lift both heels. Lower down. One more time, lift both heels. Exhale, lower down. Straighten your front leg. All 10 toes point forward. Float your arms out and up. Exhale, cascade down. Wide-legged forward fold. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Slowly on the next exhale, walk your hands towards your right foot. Pivot on your feet just for transition into a lunge. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale deeply here. Exhale, slowly melt your knees down. One more time, press back into child's pose. Walk your hands towards your knees. Come on up to sitting on your heels. You are the embodiment of love and truth. That's you, right there. Let it all come together. And then go ahead and take your blanket and put it down onto the mat. Bring your knees and shins upon it. Because truth is, the floor is hard. Take care of those knees, ahimsa. Yeah? Honoring that truth. And the floor is hard. That ain't gonna change. All right. Come on up to tall kneeling. Bring your hands out in front of you again into Kali Mudra. Pulling out that sword, cutting through illusion. Making the way for clarity and deeper insight. Inhale, arms up overhead. Now this time, as you exhale, keep your torso and your upper thighs in alignment, and you're just gonna bend, lean back actually, at the knees, and arms go out in front. Inhale, come on back up. Ooh, them quads may be talking too. Exhale, come on back. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, come on back. Inhale, come on up. This is the last one, and you're gonna stay. Hold right here, relax your shoulders, leaning back, breathing, engage those glutes, strong through your center. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, soften, fold forward, and come back to Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Once more. Sat Nam. All right. One leg back, tuck your toes under. The other leg back, tuck your toes under. Walk your hands forward a little, lower your hips. Toes are tucked under. Mindful of the low back. Inhale deeply. Exhale, downward facing dog. Grab that blanket, pull it out of the way. Slowly come forward into plank. And from plank pose, lower just your knees. Keep your bum in the air. Bend your elbows straight back. Let chest and chin come to the ground and then slide forward. Untuck your toes, rise up. Low baby cobra. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, rise. Leading with the heart. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, come on down. Last one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, come on down. And then slowly roll over onto your back and bend your knees and set the soles of your feet onto the mat. Move through a few pelvic tilts, just forward and back to release any tension that may have crept in. Collecting tools for your toolbox is a great idea. It's your Ahimsa toolkit. Kindness to your body, little things that you can do to help relieve tiredness and tension and stress. Breath is a good tool for the toolbox. Also, pelvic tilts. Come to stillness. Inhale deeply. Exhale with a long sigh. Hug the right knee in. Stretch the left leg out. You can move your feet around your ankles. And then come on to stillness and then switch. And then hug both knees in and rock gently from side to side. And then set one foot down and then the other. Open your arms up out to the side, opening your heart. Hop your hips over to the right. Pick up your knees and lower them to the left. I just did the opposite of what I said, but we'll do both sides, so it doesn't matter. Relax your shoulders. Soften through your rib cage. Relax your abdomen. Both shoulders on the ground. If your knees do not make it all the way to the ground, you can put something between your knees or between both knees and the floor. Bring the floor up to you. Make it work for you. That's being kind to your body, right? Ahimsa. It's being truthful too. That knees may not make it to the ground. So why not bring the ground up to us? That's how we change it. Make it work in a kind and compassionate way. Move from your center, float your knees back up, set your feet down, center your hips, do a few more pelvic tilts. Come to stillness, press down through your feet, hop your hips to the other side, Pick up your feet and lower your knees down. Allow your body to twist on the other side. Again, both shoulders stay on the ground. So do what it is you need to do to make this twist that happens from the abdominal area down, to make it happen and be comfortable for you, honoring where you are. So maybe, again, maybe the blanket goes between your knees. Maybe it goes underneath both knees, between both those knees and the floor, bringing the ground up to you. Turn your head in whatever direction feels best to you. Just keep breathing slow and easy. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. And then move from your center, float your knees back up, send them down, center your hips, and again, move a little through some pelvic tilts there. Come to stillness, hug one knee in and then the other. Rock a little from side to side. And then roll to the side. It's calling your name. Slowly press yourself up. Make your way to a comfortable position for Shavasana, for your deep relaxation. So if you got a couple of blocks and a bolster, maybe you set it up where you have your two blocks. Not that far apart. And then you put your bolster on top. That way, you can elevate your legs, get your feet higher than your heart, has a calming effect. Plus, it takes pressure off of your low back. And just lay down, not too far away, right? You want that good bend in your knees so your legs can completely relax and your knees don't hyperextend. Blanket, it is kind of chilly here today in Texas, so maybe you put a blanket over you or just across your pelvis. This can just feel like weight right here, sense of safety and security. It's calming, it's soothing. Get yourself comfortable. Get yourself comfortable. I'm going to lead you through a little guided relaxation. A little guided relaxation. Be kind and gentle with yourself. Self-care, ahimsa. Yeah. Just the fact that you were on your mat today, that's ahimsa. Self-care, taking care of you. Yeah. So allow yourself to let go physically and mentally. In spite of if there's any outside noise or any distractions, just let thoughts and feelings, sensations that may pop up, let them go. Guide your mind back to your body, back to your breath. And allow your body to be completely supported by what's beneath you. There's nothing you have to change. There's nothing you have to do. Just be. And allow your attention to be guided gently through different areas of your body. Start with your feet. Give your feet permission to relax. Relax the soles of your feet, your toes, ankle joints. And allow that sense of relaxation to move on up into your legs from your ankle joints, up to your knee joints. Then from your knees up to your thighs. Relax your pelvis, your abdomen, your midsection, and your chest. Relax. Not a command, a gentle reminder. Relax your hips, your low back, your mid back, and your upper back. Your whole upper body is relaxed. Front, back, inside, and outside. The entire upper body is relaxed. Inhale deeply. Let it go with a sigh. Now relax your shoulders, shoulder blades, the space between your shoulder blades. Relax the upper arms from the shoulder joints to the elbow joints, upper arms and elbows, your wrists, your forearms, and your hands, all the way down to your fingertips. Top of the hands, palms of the hands. Just a nice, relaxing, and dare I say, lazy sort of feeling of warmth and heaviness from your fingertips all the way down, all the way up from your arms and shoulders. Back of your neck and your head relaxes. And all those tiny, tiny muscles in the neck, throat area, even those bigger ones that are around there, they're all relaxing. They're all letting go. And this feeling of relaxation is spreading over the nape of the neck, the back of your head, over the entire scalp, down to the forehead. Your forehead feels smooth and shiny, like the touch of lavender or a cool breeze. The feeling of relaxation is now flowing down your face. Nostrils are even relaxing. And they actually feel more open than before. Any blockages in the upper part of the nose relaxes, shrinks. Your sinuses are relaxing and opening up. Your jaw is relaxed. Gums, teeth, tongue, hard and soft palate, and throat. All is relaxed on the inside. And just observe your breathing now, without trying to change it in any way. only thing you're aware of is that you are breathing in and out. In and out. Fully present. Fully relaxed. In a complete state of calm. Savor this moment. Savor this deep sense of relaxation. Deepen your breath. Deepen your breath and slowly start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, and begin to stretch in any way that feels good for you right here, right now. And good being natural, freeing, loving, and honest. Hug one knee in and then the other. Rock a little from side to side. Roll to one side and then slowly press yourself up. Come on back to a comfortable seat. Check in with your body. Check in with your breath. Check in with your mind. Return your hands to the treasure mudra. And revisit the intention you set for your practice today. May we all be healthy and strong. May we all be happy and free. And may we all be peaceful and at ease. That right there is a loving kindness wish. That is ahimsa. May you all have a wonderful day. The highest and the best in me bows to the highest and the best in you. Thank you. Thank you for coming to share practice today.